At Life Hack Coaching, we help women over 35 to balance hormones naturally, boost metabolism, and lose weight sustainably.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my podcast. Today I have incredible guest Kath with me, who has been on an amazing journey with her weight loss and also figuring it out what works for her body and what doesn't. She gained lots of knowledge about nutrition, understanding her body a bit better, understanding about importance of training and how to navigate perimenopause without feeling stuck. So today we're going to talk about what made the difference for her, the things that she tried that didn't work, and the mindset shift work that she experienced as well. So if you are someone who is struggling with weight loss, especially during perimenopause, this story is for you. So let's get into it. All right. Hi, Kath.
Hi, how are you doing?
So let's start with where you were before we started working together. What was your biggest struggle with weight loss and your health?
I think one of my biggest struggles with my weight loss is the lack of accountability. So nobody was watching me, and for lots of, that's okay for some people. But for me, I've got a caring family, a loving family. They're interested in things I do, but they're not going to say, that's not a great food choice, or yes, I get it. Show me something else, or let's do something different. And so I felt like I would start off strong and had the good morning, and then it would go downhill, or I would eat one thing that was compromised, and then I would say, well, my whole day's finished. I might as well just eat. And I'm going to say good and bad foods, but for most people, I understand that that's not, there's no bad food. I totally get that. However, for my body, food that wasn't going to serve me well, and then I would just eat more of it because I'd start again another day. But that never came. And so I started to feel that I couldn't move my body like I used to want to, because I wasn't eating the food to fuel it properly. And then I wasn't exercising or moving my body because I was tired, because the food wasn't giving me what I needed.
Yeah. And so how did we end up here? Like, how did you find me? Why did you decide to approach me? Do you remember?
Well, I felt really stuck in what I was doing, and I know enough about myself. Like I do coaching for other people, so I know some things about myself that meant that I knew somebody watching me, someone holding me to account, somebody being firm but fair, understanding that life does different things at different times, but also working out when I'm using that as an excuse and when it was a valid reason would be super helpful. I'd followed you on social media for a little while, and you had put something up about perimenopause, and I think in hindsight I've probably been in that space for a little while, but I've only just started hearing about it and thinking about it in the kind of last couple of years. So thinking that was probably the reason why some of the things I tried to do by myself wasn't working, because my body was different. So
yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Like, it used to be such a taboo to speak about about menopause, and perimenopause did not exist at all. It's like there was nothing. And I remember myself when I first got into perimenopause, all I got, you got anxiety, you need antidepressants. Okay, anyone wants to explain me why I've got anxiety? Like, anxiety is a symptom in some way that something is not right in my body. Do we want to talk about it, or are we just going to plaster it? And I guess that's when I really dug into it and got, education or qualifications so I can fully understand myself about perimenopause and able to help other women that have no freaking idea and just totally been dismissed.
Yeah, no idea.
By doctors, like, there's something wrong.
And I feel embarrassed to say this because I just think there's so much knowledge out there now. But I think that I thought that I would go through my life until I got to a spot, a period of time, and my period would just stop, and then I would be in menopause. But it never occurred to me, and I'd never read anything, and my mum had a procedure which meant that she didn't do menopause in a typical manner. And so I had no further knowledge, and I genuinely didn't know there was a period before that, a time before that, where things were turbulent, where moods were different, that periods would be irregular. None of those things. I knew none of that. I really honestly just thought, boom, 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 stop. And there you are.
Yeah, same.
Which is so embarrassing.
Same. I wish there was a little bit more education for women in regard we learn a bit about period, we learn about how to make babies, and then it would be nice to know how to move into the next stage of your life and what you can do to, help
Yeah.
yourself. And yeah. All right. So you mentioned that you've tried different approaches, but this time they didn't work. Well, because your body was going through changes. So what did you try in the past, and why do you think they didn't work this time? Well, I guess we know why, because of perimenopause. But what have you tried?
Yeah, I've tried a few different things. I was pretty successful on Weight Watchers more than 10 years ago. And when I kind of like about a month maybe into your program, I was like, oh, this is the accountability is the key principle for me, that being someone going, show me how you've been moving, show me what you've been eating, the types of food you've been eating, and what are your results. So I tried to do that kind of like based on what I'd been successful before. I was like, okay, I have all the information. Why don't I just use that information and do it? And of course, my body is different and changed. I tried keto things, and that was successful to some level as well. That gave me some good energy, and I felt like now in hindsight, I think, oh, that's the extra protein that was filling me up and keeping me good. And that works for a while, but also it's really tricky, just deprivation and also in society, just going somewhere and all of those kind of things. But with your program, what I was learning was so like our kind of working out what type of bread, if I chose to eat it, was going to be my best choices. So the Vogel's bread and the sourdough bread, and just that understanding that not all bread's created equal. And also, you can have an omelette one day and you could have an egg on your toast the next day. So there wasn't that total deprivation where it's like, I could never eat this thing again. It was more about, okay, this is when and this is how, and this is, if I'm at a cafe, and my go-to now is like eggs on sourdough bread.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. That's great. Yeah. And, things that work for us when we were in our 30s, 100% don't work now. And I remember, getting McDonald's at 6 a.m., coming home from being out and about and still being skinny little thing. Now I can't look or even smell McDonald's. I'll gain weight. Things are so different, different. It's not just about, it's not about calories anymore or about certain macros breakdown. It's about the quality of the food, what's in it, what additives are in it, because as you go into perimenopause, things are changing and your body reacting differently to so many things, and you're suddenly developing some food sensitivity that you've never had in the past, and so many changes. So what changed for you when you started to focus on protein, on exercise, tracking your food?
I think my real big one that was really, really helpful for me that you gave me was, again, like looking at that, say I'm going to just use yoga as an example, but looking for yoga that had the right things for my body. So the high protein, and also then like just because it says high protein on the outside, just taking an extra minute to turn it around and go, how much sugar is in this? Because for me, I think sugar was hard. Like that doesn't work well in my body. And I think the other thing that when I started to focus on the things that you were working with me on is that I felt a lot more energy. And when I felt like I had more energy and I was fuller, all the noise around food and food desires just started to disappear in my brain. So I wasn't constantly walking around going, oh, I need a bit more sugar, or I need another piece of chocolate, or I just need a quick piece of energy. And then, of course, I wanted something salty. So like, okay, I know. Now I needed like some cheese or a packet of chips. But because I'd set myself up right with those 3 or 4 different consistent breakfasts that we worked out were good, then I was full. I'd started my day off right. I felt good. Gave me really good brain clarity. And then because I had good brain clarity, I could make my next food decision well. Because my brain was working instead of just going, give me some more sugar.
Yeah, exactly. That's fantastic. So a lot of women give up when they don't see results as quick as they want to, right? So what's kept you going even when progress felt slow?
Well, over the time we worked together, I wasn't amazing every day. And that was frustrating for myself, because I felt like I definitely really resonated when you said to me, I think you're self-sabotaging. I think you're setting yourself up on purpose to fail. So having that as a reminder that I'm worth it, that it's okay to say, I can't eat that, and so we're not going to have it in-house, or no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something different and make a different meal. But also when it was like your encouragements and your practical solutions and your ideas around what to do in those stumbling blocks were really, really helpful in that area too. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So pretty much accountability, that's what kept you going, and mindset work, right?
Yep. And I also think one of the things that you said to me one time, or probably several, is like, okay, this is a reset. Okay. What you ate yesterday is, I guess, honestly, reflected on the scales. There's some information. And if you want that to go down, then you need to look back through a day and find the food that you ate on that day and put those things into the next couple of days. So just helping me kind of gain that knowledge and see kind of like a direct connection was really, really helpful.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So now that you've lost weight and you're feeling way better, so what were your biggest lessons that you've learned about your body and what it's needed?
I think one is that before I probably thought 100 calories was 100 calories. So if I got it from some blah food or some other food, it didn't really matter as long as I kind of stayed under my calorie intake. But actually that just does not serve you. For me, I truly needed to eat lots of really good food, like your fresh food, like you said, and the food that serves you. And also just kind of realizing for me that, yep, okay, it's a salad, and yes, I'm having a little bit of dressing, but that dressing's got something in it that sets me back. And so doing those kind of things. My other big lesson would be when I ate well, I felt well. And when I felt well, I moved my body. And when I moved my body, I felt stronger. And for me, moving my body was more about like a long-term sustainability. I didn't necessarily want to move my body to be thin. I wanted to move my body so I could feel strong, and so I could move through the world with confidence.
Yes, that's fantastic. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So for women that are listening who are feeling stuck and frustrated, what advice would you give them based on your own experience?
I would say if you're a person that can do it alone, I'm very jealous. I think my biggest piece of advice would be to seek help from somebody that knows what they're talking about, like you. Like, you don't decide to change your own oil in your own car because you've read somewhere that you can do it.
Some people do.
You don't decide that you're going to make, some people do. You often don't decide you're going to make your own curtains just because you think you can. So we seek help in areas of our lives all the time. And I think it's really okay to seek help in understanding nutrition, working out, what's going to work for you, and your knowledge about helping me unpack and see the different foods, the different types of foods, and what reactions I had in my body was really, really eye-opening. And unfortunately, if you only give it 60%, you're only going to get 60%. So if you put 60% energy or effort in, you're going to get a 60% result. And when I was working with you, having those times where I was doing that 100% in, I could definitely 100% see the results. And I think that's that accountability, the knowledge that you're also willing to share, and that ability to encourage me to put that 100% energy in would be the things that really would be my advice here.
No, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. I know it's hard sometimes to jump on podcast and get in the front of the world and be in the front of the camera, but it can be very empowering and encouraging for those who struggle and don't know where to start and what to do next. So I really appreciate you being here today. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
If you have any questions about this podcast or about hormones, weight loss, or just healthier lifestyle, please go to our website at lifehackcoaching.co.nz, or feel free to email me directly, Anastasia@lifehackcoaching.co.nz.